Hi everyone, welcome to the photo. Fucking hell!
Okay,
Hi
I will
everyone, welcome. Welcome to the Photomode Unplugged. We are your hosts. I'm Rúben. This is Mick. Hello, sir.
I'm glad we got there in the end.
Should we jump straight away?
Yeah, this is no messing about. We're going straight into a Q&A session this week.
First question from hopefully Pablito on Twitter was from a purely creative artistic standpoint. So putting aside everything related to copyright, public recognition and whatnot, what are the areas in which you think the medium still needs to grow and mature? I know the answer.
Good.
I read this and thought we both know the answer.
Okay, go on then.
We will probably have the same. I think it's VPs supporting other VPs projects. So virtual photographers don't really support other virtual photographers projects all that much. We are feeling it firsthand right now. You felt it with the VP awards. So I think that's the key. Once we unlock that, the medium will grow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that entirely about the awards because the participation is excellent, but I think it's that what we'll say is promotion of other projects. It's not necessarily support. People will take part, but they don't really shout about what other folk are doing, and the sharing accounts don't really do that, which is strange. So yeah, everyone's
we are not talking about every single person in the community, but
as a
the vast the vast majority don't.
Yeah, it's hard because everyone's still trying to carve their own place in it, so you naturally focus on your own work instead of what everyone else is doing. But yeah.
Second question from Spiggy Smalls. There is actually 3 questions in here. So the first one, is cereal a soup? Why or why not?
No.
It's not a soup.
It's not a soup.
It needs vegetables to be a soup.
It maybe, not necessarily, because it can be a meat soup from boiled up bones, etc. But it's got to be cooked. Cereal is just cereal with milk on. No, next question.
In 40 years, what will people be nostalgic for?
Oh my God.
TikTok. In 40 years.
In 40 years, they'll probably be nostalgic of smartphones. It's the only thing that they'll have a memory of.
Maybe, yeah. If animals could talk, which would be the rudest? Dogs.
No,
because they hang out. They hang out with humans.
Okay, fair point.
They know.
But they've also got humor. Dogs have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I mean, swans. Swans are not nice. Have you not been chased by a swan? They're unpleasant.
That's a story for another day. So Josh 77567 _ VP Josh on Twitter. What aspects of VP do you both like the most, and what's the best way to grow your VP account? This will be so contradictory to what I previously stated, but what I like the most is the support. Like that, it's small, the support that you get from other VPs promoting your content, but the support that you get when they do is really cool. Like I've been experiencing that with the podcast, the ones and streaming, the ones that stick with you, supporting you throughout the journey, really make you like want, even if the thing isn't growing, you are still pushing on because of them.
I know what you mean. So there's like quite a close knit loyalty from certain fans. I think probably the thing I like most is having been in it, or like from the start, because we're seeing this develop and it changes all the time. So it's that sense of something with potential, actually.
And the second part, what's the best way to grow your VP account?
Well, we've taken definitely different approaches. One, you focus really on the social media, and mine's focused on content. Different levels of success there, you know.
I think if you stay honest to what you want to create, you will find your people, and those people will make you reach more people, and that will make you eventually grow.
Yeah.
Maybe not in massive numbers, but in your network will be solid. Like that group that we mentioned will be there.
Yeah, and I've always believed in sticking to the content that you want to create and quality content, and that can be the hard thing to do because you've got to really be determined to push through when you think it's not necessarily working. You just got to keep doing it and believe that it will come through in the end. So quality content is, for me, that's the biggest thing to go for.
Cinemain VP on Twitter, here's my question for each of you. What's the one thing that improved your VP the most when you started focusing on it?
Tricky. Okay, so I'm probably guilty of it a little bit, but my general advice is to not focus on documenting the game as it is. The temptation is to fall into every, like, wow, that looks great on screen as you're playing it. I've got to get a shot of that. But then you end up with the same pictures as what everyone's going to get. So when you can find another reason to take shots and find something that you want to create a set about, that'll give you a better piece of work.
I don't do that. I still document every single thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think not comparing myself with others really made me not care about, like, we are all sharing the same picture. So it made me like enjoy, not improve my VP per se, but enjoy the process more. Okay. Like I'm actually capturing what I like instead of like, oh, so action shots from a certain game are the popular thing, so I have to do that, or that this person has tons of engagement, so I have to copy what they are doing. So doing what I like it's really put me in a place that I don't even care the engagement that I get anymore, because I'm having fun capturing. It used to be that I was having more fun posting than I am capturing, and now it's the reverse, because I don't care as much with the social media engagement. If
you say so. So that leads neatly into the next question. No, leave it. Is there any point using a ton of hashtags? This is Mr. Mex24. Is there any point using a ton of hashtags? No, I think we've said this one of the times before, that actually it's detrimental if you've got too many hashtags. Yeah. So your engagement can become confused and dispersed by the algorithm then. So
and the post looks ugly. It looks like a marketing thing. Yeah. Like you are trying to sell me this post.
Instagram's really bad for it. It's kind of more hidden because it only shows the image, but you open and you think, oh my God. And
even they are trying to bring down the number of hashtags that people use on Instagram but for a while.
Even the effort of doing it, unless a lot of people just copy and paste them from one to another, but for me, do away with it and you'll find it's easier on yourself. You will enjoy posting more if you don't use it.
But I use one when posting for theme events or just tagging the game enough. The theme events, if you want to take part on that theme, use that hashtag, of course.
Makes sense.
You go. I can pronounce it.
DP Ruts or Dave. Just go with Dave. Do you guys post edits? If so, what apps and software do you use, and what is your process?
Yes, Lightroom Mobile.
Yes, so I use the same actually. I use Adobe Lightroom, and I've got it on both mobile and on desktop because it'll sync between the two.
I have the browser version, not the desktop, the browser version. But I usually edit on the browser. and then see how it looks in a small screen and compare it by those. And
you get, I mean, my edits aren't substantial, but it's more like I use the curves. In fact, one of the things I usually do is take the blacks off. I soften blacks because you very rarely see like pure dark black, and you do get that in games. So I like to flatten the blacks, get a bit of a matte feel to it.
I just go by whatever I feel like it at the time. Like if I look at this at a photo and I feel it needs more green, I will probably go
green
to.
Green is interesting. Green is usually something I take out. I don't like it unless it's foliage. But you know.
Yeah, the thing is, green is my favorite color, so I might be biased there. Why, Keen IVP? Why doesn't Rúben like the jokes?
This is the key question. Why doesn't Rúben like the jokes?
I like the jokes, but if we both like the jokes, it takes away from the episode.
Yeah.
So I have to not like the jokes. But some of them are really bad. But that's why they are fun.
So in the interest of these are really short, right? We're doing quick fire questions. So in the interest of a joke that really fits that, and this is Jimmy Carr's joke. I've got it. It's Jimmy Carr's.
Oh, I seen one of his shows live recently.
Well, this one is the shortest joke. It is a 2-word joke. Dwarf shortage.
I know that one. That's a good one.
Does it get any shorter? Next.
You prepared this episode with that joke in mind. Why so lucky? How did you start your VP journey, and what made you stick to it this far? Okay, so I was kicked out of Facebook by my friends and family because I was posting so much in like 3 days in the span of a weekend after Spider-Man came out. My family begged me to stop. They could just mute me, but no, they comment on the post begging me to stop. So I went on Twitter. I had a Twitter page from 2 years before that, 2016, and I started posting my photos there. And once I found out that there was this whole community surrounding it, because Insomnia kept retweeting photos from people, I just stayed with it. What made me stick to it so far? It was VirtuaCam, and it's still VirtuaCam, and that sense of community that makes me stick with it. If you don't know what VirtuaCam is, just search for it on Twitter, and you will see what a community page can be.
Yeah, it's one of the originals.
Yeah.
I don't know, how did I start? I'm not even really sure. I had an old Twitter account that was for something else. I posted a few pictures, but it was actually when I made it, I thought, right, I'm going to decide to make a page about this, and when I set up the website, and that's what really does keep me going with things now, because I've built the web page and all the blog and everything about it. So the more developed that becomes, the more I've got to lose by just stopping. It's not just a matter of I don't fancy doing that anymore. I've got to a point where it would be silly to throw it away. So what stops me giving up is how things have progressed already.
VR photo games. How did you come up with the idea of doing this podcast? Have you had it in mind for a while?
Yeah, well, we did have it in mind for a while.
Yeah.
We talked. I can't remember the first suggestion, what the actual reason was, but it was around the idea of there needs to be something like this. There needs to be something like a relaxed chat type thing that's not trying to prove a point all the time, because we're not here.
Even these questions, the first few questions that we got were pretty serious.
Yeah,
and
apart from the soup one.
Okay, but the soup one wasn't one of the first. But when I woke up and I went scrolling, it was very serious. So after that, people started to throw more jokey ones. But I still think that the VP community is super serious all the time. And
it's just, it's that part of everybody's aware that this is growing and this is going to maybe be a thing. And they're like, how do I be part of the thing? And you can't relax until you're sort of comfortable within it, I think. So that's what
no one is comfortable right now.
I am. I think so. Like I said, we can do this and not have to worry about trying to prove anything with it. We're not trying to justify anything with it. This isn't aimed at saying why virtual photography is relevant or anything. We're past that. It is relevant. Yeah. We know it. So now we can have this kind of informal thing. That's why.
_ virtual tourism on Twitter. If you could both have one guest from the industry on the podcast, who would it be and why?
Difficult.
I think I would like Gil from Insomniac.
Yeah.
It was like, as soon as I read this, I thought the perfect guy to have in here would be Gil, because for those of you that don't know, he's like the lead UI and UX designer at Insomnia Games. So that photo mode is basically his love child to in the game, and I really want to ask like a million questions to him. That's the guess that I would like to have.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to just ultimate aim high, Kojima. It's gotta be Kojima. He's just, as a creator, doesn't get any better. But that's unlikely.
Still from virtual tourism, if you could make a game, what would it be about, and what studio would you choose to help you?
I don't know. I couldn't make a game.
Something in World War One. I want that game now.
Yeah.
Since our conversation about photo modes in movies, I've been thinking about it. Like a game in World War One, like third person, narrative focused with a great photo mode. That would be the game. About the studio,
I don't think we can answer that, because that comes down to like, who's your favorite studio as a fan of the games, but you don't know who could best assist what you wanted to develop.
I know who I wouldn't want to have at Activision, because I want the game to have a photo mode.
Well, okay, they're a publisher anyway, but yeah.
Okay, but you get okay.
Yeah. Go on, next.
Not any of their studios. So, lastly, how are you, fine folks, today? How are
fine.
you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, fine.
And on presumably the day that you're watching this, hopefully still fine.
Yeah. Okay, point and grift. VP is way more accessible for amateurs in comparison to in real life, with camera costs, etc. removed entirely. So I'm curious how much of a difference you think it makes to be an actual photographer doing VP, and what place you think VP has in the wider photography world.
Okay, long
one. I will love your answer, because I never ask you this.
Well, I think the first part is debatable, whether it's more accessible. Not necessarily. For a start, you don't need an expensive camera to do real world photography. You can use a phone. You can buy a pretty competent camera for £200-300. You can't buy a console and some games for that, so it's not necessarily that much cheaper. Plus the TV, anyway. What was the rest of it? I'm curious what you think. What do you think it makes to be an actual photographer doing VP? What difference does it make? I think it influences probably the style. It influences the style that I shoot, because if you come to it without any photographic or cinema influence, you might, like, you see a lot of people lean towards shots that look suited on a phone, and that's not my thing at all. So I like stuff that's more cinematic in style. But it's really just like, if you know certain methods, and the rules aren't really rules, they're guides. It gives you a direction that you're going to easily go with. I think that's probably how it helps. Rather than struggling, you understand the potential more of the tools, I think.
Yeah. I agree with with everything really, but especially the first part. Like, your style will be different, And I can see that by comparing our shots. Like my shots is because I wanted to look good on a smartphone, on the on social media, and you don't do that as much or at all. But what about the last part of the question? What place do you think VP has in the wider photography world?
That's interesting as well, actually. I think a lot of people are able to benefit from it. You'll see some people who've started in photo modes and have gone out and bought a camera because of it. So in some way, it's a feeder into real world photography. I think it's a method that complements real world photography. It will never obviously replace it, but it's a good way to practice and develop skills and styles that are transferable. Composition, right, is the same whether you're looking at a real thing or on a screen. And if you get good at finding a quick composition, that'll help you with a real camera.
No. It's funny because I've been looking to get into in real life photography for a while now, and I'm getting really close, I think. So Alison at I won't pronounce this. Just Alison on Twitter. Who are your favorite portrait virtual photographers on Twitter and Instagram? I don't think I have one. I have a style of portrait photography that I like to see in general. The ones that seem that the character isn't aware that you're taking a portrait photography of them. Like I don't like. I do it all the time. And on our guide for the PS blog, I said that like looking at the camera is a great way to capture the emotion. But I like to see like those that feel like supernatural and the character isn't aware of being photographed. I like those.
So if you take cinema again as the example, in a film, you're very rarely seeing the characters looking down the lens.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same idea, isn't it? And when they do, it's a deliberate style. So, in terms of my favorite, I honestly don't really have one. I don't pick out individuals. Okay, let's just go with the current winner of the Virtual Photography Awards. It's going to be a portrait winner for each year. So just that. But in general, not really. I don't single anyone out. So,
do you believe? Second question from Alison. Do you believe that the video game developers should have collaborated with a photo mode consultant before the game is released?
I think they are keen to get feedback anyway. Should you all consult someone? Not necessarily. They're perfectly capable. It's more whether they've got someone on board who understands the use case. They don't have to go and do research with people. They just need to understand how it's used. I
was going to go on that direction. If they have someone on the studio that understands photography and understands how the capabilities of a photo mode, no.
Yeah.
But if they realize that they don't have that person on board, maybe they should get it, or they should even putting a post on social media asking for that type of feedback would be enough to get what most people want out of photo mode. Amaya Nocturna _Nocturna on Twitter again. What would you say your specialty with VP? Example: portraits, landscapes, action. And second part, let's keep it at that and go on the second part.
I just said, really, didn't I? It's more the cinematic style, really, is kind of what I aim for a lot. If there's a 21:9 wide screen crop or aspect ratio, I generally use that, and fairly tight characters.
I like to take portraits, but I don't think it's my specialty. Like it's the thing that I like to do the most.
Yeah, it's all right to not have one. Your specialty can be generalized, everything.
I like to take shots of everything.
Yeah,
really, but I have fun with portraits. I don't think they are like my strongest. So
the second part of that is, if you had an art block, how do you overcome it? So would changing the type of shots you're doing be one of the ways you'd overcome it. If you think I can't get more portraits, I'll do some action shots instead.
I actually never tried that, but I just go and make sure I play games without a photo mode is one.
Okay.
Or watch a lot of movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Because movies and TV shows will get me inspired on getting certain types of shots, like the cinematography behind it all will inspire me. And just having fun with a game without a photo mode, without thinking, oh, I have to stop here, I have to stop there to take a photo, it will be enough to get me out of that like art block.
Yeah.
What about you?
The times I find it most difficult is, say, if I've written a review and I need to capture some stuff that goes in it to illustrate that. That's what I struggle with the most, because I'm thinking, where do I go? Where's going to be the best, location for this, best opportunity? And they're the ones that take me the longest and the most arduous captures, really, because I've got this expectation of what I need it to be. When I'm not doing that, I'm kind of all right, because I can easily just find inspiration as I go. So doing it without...
I never asked you this, so this one will be one of mine. Do you plan your shots?
In general?
Yeah.
Some I do, and some I don't. So I do both. I will play along and then think, there's an opportunity, and then I'll find what it is. Once you can quickly see the potential, you can spend some time in it. But others, then I totally do. Like, when I did that 30-day challenge, for example, that was like, right, I've got a set theme for the day.
Okay.
How can I go and achieve this? And then it was deliberately created, yeah.
When I used to take part on challenges, I used to plan my shots, and it was so stressful not being able to capture, so I just gave up on that.
It's the same for the review. When you want to try and depict something, and you think, how the hell do I portray this?
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part.
Yeah. Where were we?
Gamer7PJ.
Okay.
In a scenario where all images are viewed on a horizontal monitor, do you think images viewed in horizontal mode get an edge over portrait, i.e. vertical shots, which will then be scaled down? They expanded on this elsewhere, actually saying, do you have two monitors so that you can view in landscape and in portrait in full screen? And if not, would you consider having that kind of setup? I don't. First of all, you're capturing in landscape mode on the TV, so that's where you most would benefit from that. If you're playing on PC and capturing on PC, it might definitely be useful to have a portrait-oriented monitor so you could see full screen.
The thing is, if you're capturing on PC, you're probably using camera tools, and if you're using camera tools, you can outsample and make the screen go portrait. I actually have two monitors, and I never considered using one, because then I would have to drag. Okay, I would have to take the shot, see the shot in one screen, see the shot in the other, or before even taking the shot, just change the game from one monitor to the other. I think
the question's more based on the viewing the shots afterwards and how you actually look back at them, and whether you're sort of doing them a disservice by shrinking them on a portrait screen. You can actually say the reverse of most people who look on phones are going to see portrait images in full screen and landscape because they can't be asked to rotate the phone. It's difficult.
I posted one today. Do you know the small man? When you get a free camera, every picture is like a small man on the. In a big environment. Those don't translate that well into phones.
Point. Yeah.
And today I had my first-hand experience with a Jedi Fallen Order shot, where on my phone I couldn't see the main character at all.
Yeah.
Like on my 4K monitor, perfect. Yeah. He's like in the perfect place, but on the small screen I couldn't even.
What size is your monitor then for comparison?
What? Sorry.
What size is your monitor as a comparison?
Oof, it's very big. It's
big.
like I want to say 42 inches.
Monitor. Mine's 32, which I thought was quite big, but
okay, I might be wrong.
Don't start googling it. You know,
I was going to.
I know,
because you can type out.
Next question. Move on.
I might be wrong. You saw me do it. Okay, Mills_VP. At what point in the VP process do you become the most excited? When I don't know when I know the game has a photo mode, but I haven't tried it yet.
Okay, so the anticipation.
The anticipation of opening a new photo mode and playing around with it. It's always like I get butterflies in my stomach, and then in the case of God of War Ragnarok, I get disappointed.
A lead balloon. It wasn't that bad, but I don't know if it means in the process of getting a single shot, because I don't think I get excited at that. I'm not surprised, like, oh wow, that this has happened and I didn't see it coming. So that it's hard to be excited there. I think I'm excited when new things happen in the virtual photography space, I would say. That's a fair answer.
What is it like to be a goat?
There's no point asking you.
Is it to me or to you? I think it's to the show, really. And to be...
Well, we are the greatest virtual photography podcast out there.
Of all time. So far.
So what's it like? Well, stay with us until the end of the year and we'll see how the figures have gone and then we'll tell you.
I know, Rúben, you started with VP with Insomniac Spider-Man. What was Mick's first dance with VP?
Okay, that's it. So if I to think back the first time I ever used a photo mode, I will have used Gran Turismo 4, but it didn't register with me enough. The first one I've actively remember using was Wipeout HD, which was still a PS3 game, and you couldn't do anything with the pictures. So, but I remember using it and be like, wow, and exploring the ship and the trails and, you know. That's so cool. In terms of, and it was before you could do anything with it. Like, there was no social media relevance then. First ones I posted anything.
Couldn't you post on Facebook from the PS3?
Oh, maybe. I don't think so. I don't know. Anyway, it's days gone. Not the game.
No, it's Wipeout.
Yeah. First ones I posted was probably Horizon, but I'd taken a couple of shots in Infamous First Light, actually. I played First Light before I played Second Son and Drive Club. I know.
Who does that?
I do.
Okay. Kawan __. What's your favorite game of all time?
Oh my god.
Can we say the top 3, maybe?
I can give 3 totally different ones for different reasons, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So, back to my childhood, a Sensible World of Soccer on the Amiga, and I played the hell out of it. It's so good. Sensi World was the best football game ever made. It still is. It was phenomenal, and I played that. I played the full season, and it took 13 minutes at the end of the season to go through all of the other leagues, and then you'd start again the next year. Full players, transfers, it was wonderful. It's the best football game ever made. It will never be beat. Game that I'm most sort of impressed with as a beacon for the medium is The Last of Us. Still, I just think it was so seismic in the storytelling that it did. And my favorite game series is Gran Turismo, and Gran Turismo 7 has absolutely just confirmed that. So GT7, I could play GT7 forever and not be fed up of it.
I understand that. Okay, so mine. It's really hard to pick one Final Fantasy out of every Final Fantasy. But I will go nostalgia over quality, and it's Final Fantasy X. 10 was my first and the one that I played the most. Then I will go Bloodborne because I just love the lore. The lore, like, not the storytelling, but the world that they created, and the story of the world is so good. And God of War 2018. God of War 2018. Yeah. I still think it's a better game
original.
than Ragnarok.
I mean original of the Norse one.
Yeah. God of War 2018 changed gaming for me. The way I do gaming nowadays is much more focused on the characters. It used to be like the whole story of the game, and now I look at the characters as like single individuals.
It's their story.
That's it. Like, I want to replay The Last of Us Part 1 because I really want to see the... I read your piece that you... And the thing that you don't like about The Last of Us Part 2...
Yeah.
I didn't pick it up.
It's that ending, right? Go link in the description. Thank you. Go read that. But spoilers about The Last of Us in the post. But yes, The Last of Us Part 2 undermines the end of 1 massively. It's terrible. Anyway,
I want to replay that because I don't think I remember the ending of the first as well as replaying the second game. Second question of Cohen, how old are you?
40.
31. What's the first thing you...
Do you know by that time, by the age of 31, I was already a doctor.
And a dad?
Yes, of 1.
Nah. I have very little plans to have either one of those by the time I'm 40. What's the first thing you think of when you wake up? Fuck this again. It's the first thing I do when I wake up.
Mine's similar, but not as negative as that. It's, do I need to get up yet? It's like, is it a school day? Yeah, damn it. If not, I don't need to get up.
That's things that I don't have to think about if it's a school day or not. Do you have a pet?
No, not anymore.
I have a dog, 3 years old. Are you happy? Yes, most days.
We do want, by the way, on the pet thing, I'm constantly getting harassed. The children are desperate for a dog.
I get that.
Well, I had a dog and she died, so I've never got another one.
It's trauma. Yeah. It starts with like something small, like a fish.
No, it's a dog or nothing.
I agree. And what's your favorite food?
Oh, I don't know. I really love apple crumble, actually.
Ooh, I love apple crumble. Yeah. But that's a dessert. Okay, dessert is food.
Okay, so we want something that's not dessert. This isn't necessarily my favorite, but everybody should try this. It's from Red Dwarf. I don't mention Red Dwarf enough on this show. I should bring it in more. So go and try.
I only know Red Dwarf because of you.
Well, then you should be grateful. Go and try triple fried egg chili chutney sandwich. Don't question it. Just go and do it. That's the best food.
Mine, I think it's a Portuguese, but it's a Portuguese thing. But it's like chicken nuggets, but not really. It's like a fried, like a thin slice of chicken.
Right.
And you have that with tomato rice, like rice with tomato sauce, and it's simple. It's like homey. It's good. It's really good. I had it today. My mother-in-law does it all the time for me. So Now we move to the anonymous questions.
So they're liable to be a bit more risky. Are they?
Are they? I don't know.
don't know.
First one, how long does it take to roughly for you to capture a single shot? It depends on the shot.
It depends on the shot. Probably 5-10 minutes. If I feel that it's taking longer than that, then I think it's not here, and I would just give up and I'd just restart and go somewhere else.
I take like between 15 minutes upwards of 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm surprised that how.
Well,
are you that fast?
So it's just really a matter. If I find, right, the first job is getting the composition right. Well, the first job is finding an opportunity and then getting the composition right, and everything else is really quick and easy after that. So if I can't get the composition, or at least very close to, if I can't move around and see something in it, I don't stop and waste the time. I don't try and force the issue. I just move on. Because it's not there. Whoa. You've just got to have the eye for whether it's there or not. And sometimes the worst thing is when you've seen it, you've moved away, and then I can't quite get it again. And I'm like, what was it?
I had that on stream this past Saturday. I did a shot. Like, I'm replaying Jedi Fallen Order, but I wanted to put the light in the other side of the main character, so you have to actually move the camera and go there.
Yeah.
And that shot was like so much better than the one that I had in mind.
Yeah.
But to take that shot, I had to go into the camera tools, do the hot sampling, do the whole thing. So I was like, okay, I will end the one that I was planning and then grab this one. And I never actually got to go back after changing the settings.
Yeah.
We spent like 20 minutes trying to go back. So I said 15 minutes. I roughly is between 5 and 10 minutes on most shots, but I want to say like 15 as a good margin.
It certainly can be. And games that have got studio lighting will add a huge amount of time because you get the composition right, knowing I'm going to be able to add to this, and then to really construct the lighting, that adds a lot of time. Yeah. Next one.
Your worst habit?
Biting my nails. Quite a lot.
Smoking.
That's an appalling habit.
Yeah. I'm actually gave up smoking at the start of this year.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking to it. So
good.
So far, yeah. I quit smoking for 2.5 years straight, and then I fell back, and now I'm trying to quit smoking again. But I know that's my worst habit. Do you believe that video game developers and publishers should create a job for virtual photographers, regardless if they have professional background in photography or not? Not on photography. You need to have some kind of professional background or portfolio, not necessarily on photography.
Yeah, there's no obligation for them to create openings because of a large fan base. There's so many people enjoying this, we better make them a job. Nonsense. The game industry does, however, need game capture art. It's always been a part of the game industry, and they do employ people to do that. Are they going to take those on based on just a photography background alone? No. Are they going to take them on just on a sort of fan account? No. As with any job, you've got to have relevant experience.
Agree. Yeah. So I know we actually answered this question before.
Did we?
What phone do you have?
Okay. No, we didn't really. I have a Sony Xperia 1 Mark II.
I have a Samsung Galaxy A53, I think.
Okay. I got it for the accuracy of the screen, and it's a 21:9 screen, which I want a 21:9 TV. Why isn't there one?
I just got mine like 2 years ago, and I Google best budget phone.
Yeah, and it's not on a contract. I don't buy phones on contracts because they're not They're not worth it. Anyway.
What is the best photo mode you have ever used?
Oh my god, I can never decide that, but I probably most enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, yeah. That I ever used is probably Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really like the ones that Insomniac do, and I think they are probably the ones that have the best tools. But as a full package, I would say Ghost of Tsushima. If you could work alongside any studio, who would it be and why?
We kind of had
Monica.
That. Yeah. Fair enough. I actually don't know. I mean, I've collaborated with some already, and it's all enjoyable. One thing I would say is that coming into the game industry in any sort of way, I'm a scientific researcher, so my normal everyday engagement is in an academic sense. I work at the university, and we work in the nuclear industry and in academia. So it's all super serious and, confidential and things. Coming into the game industry, everybody is so much more welcoming and down to earth. And honestly, I don't think it would really matter who you work with. I've spoken to people from all sorts of studios, and it's just a positive experience every time. So anyone.
What games are you looking forward to playing, capturing this year? I have 3.
Hey, go on then.
Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, and Jedi Survivor are my 3 that I really want to play and capture.
Yeah, we don't know if Final Fantasy will have a photo mode, I guess. The other 2 almost certainly will. Other than that, I can't think of an awful lot that's...
Hogwarts Legacy.
No, I'm not really into Harry Potter. There's no photo mode either. So it's just meh, whatever.
Are you really from the UK?
Yeah.
Oh, last 3. What's the worst joke you got?
What's brown and sticky? The stick. Do you know what? I told that to my daughter Lydia. She was probably 6 at the time. And I was trying to teach her some jokes so she could remember it. And I was like, right, Lyd, do you remember this one? And I said, what's brown and sticky? And she went, Marmite. I was like, oh my God, you've just improved it.
I have no jokes. So, I don't know. Have you ever been fired from a job?
No.
I don't I know. So I used to do a lot of clothing stores and food courts, those shopping centers, and sometimes they didn't renew my contract, but I was never fired from one.
I managed to even not get fired after I punched a member of the public. In fairness, I was threatened by the guy, and yeah, there was an altercation, and he he was in a bloodied heap on the floor. This is at a train station. I was running real replacement coaches, and this guy got aggressive and he grabbed me by the shirt like this, and I punched him. He collapsed. Had to go ring my manager, thinking I'm in big trouble here. I wasn't in big trouble, and I ended up with the nickname Rocky.
Yeah.
So, but thankfully, I had witness from the station staff who said that he was the one causing trouble. So
this should have been the end of the episode, but we have one more question. What made you choose the social media you use to share your photos? Have you ever thought about exploring new social networks? I already answered this. It's because my family and friends do not like me on Facebook.
Yeah, I use Twitter because it's the one that's got the best engagement with the studios themselves. I have an Instagram which I sort of use as just a wall. I just don't like the platform. I don't like the quality of the uploads even.
They are starting to leave the squares.
Oh, good. That's fine. I might still not do anything. As in other ones, I made an account on Hive, and I think I made one post saying, hello, anybody on Hive? And then it just doesn't... I just don't bother going back.
It's going to be hard to top Twitter, to be honest. For me, it's going to be really hard to top Twitter. But yeah, Twitter, I have an Instagram, but honestly, Instagram, it's a lot of me climbing walls and virtual photography. That's it.
So there you go. That's all of the questions then.
That's all the questions. And I'm surprised that we took less than 1 hour to answer them all. And yeah, I'm glad.
Did a good job there. The idea was to get through as... Maybe we should have said that at the start. We're going to do quick fire answers. Yeah. Hopefully, if you've got any other ideas, drop them in the comments. We can do another one of these, I guess, sometime, because questions will always be different.
Yeah, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And if we get the same question again, we will just change the answers.
Yeah, but even if we answer it differently, you're not allowed to try and pull us up on it. But last time you said it was such a thing, and now you've changed. It depends on the day. Caveat.
Yeah. We don't think about what we say in this episode. Okay, so that was it. Let us know if you have any more questions in the comments below. And before you start typing, like and subscribe. Bye.